Cross-generation games are interesting. When new consoles release, companies know that most of the user base is still on the old consoles, so they continue to release games on both. A lot of the time we get a few AAA games for a year or two and then that's it. Other times you get Just Dance 2020 releasing on the Wii and not the Wii U. And sometimes you get stuff like Black Ops 3 on the PS3, which looks like Black Ops 3 on the PS2.
What the fuck?
Something way more interesting though is when developers create an entirely different game with the same title. The basic plot of the game might be the same, but the gameplay experience is entirely different. And that's what leads us into Sonic the Hedgehog for the Master System. This version released on the Master System and the Game Gear around 6 months after the release of the original game. Whilst the game was marketed and definitely developed with the Game Gear in mind, it's interesting to me that it released on the Master System as well. So I hope you're sitting down because you're about to be swept off your feet in awe at the sheer power of Sonic the Hedgehog in 8-bit. It's Sonic in 8-bit, it's not that exciting. But it's pretty good actually. Despite being on inferior hardware and being a lesser game in terms of appearance, it's pretty fun. It plays similarly to the original game. The first level is fast and the rest of the game is slower, as was the case in the original. You run, collect rings, break open monitors, it's all here. You can't pick up your rings when you get hit though.
Weird.
You can even build up speed by rolling down hills. The game actually substitutes loops for these little ramps that fling you really high.
Wow.
Obviously it's not as cool or impressive as the loops, but at least they did something. In terms of zones, we have a few returning from the original. Green Hill Zone, Scrap Brain, and Labyrinth Zone. Oh my fucking god! What is it with these games and this fucking level? This one is way worse than the original too. It's like 5 times slower and filled with bullshit like this. There are also a few new zones, those being Bridge Zone, that's it. There's no wordplay here, it's just a bridge zone. It's a zone with bridges, there's nothing really going. Yep. We've also got Jungle Zone, it's a jungle. This one has a waterfall as well though. Truly riveting stuff on display here. Also you can die from hitting the air here. Nice one. Boss-wise, this game actually impressed me. In each boss fight, you have no rings. Not like you can pick up the rings when you get hit anyway, I'm still salty. I actually enjoyed the trial and error side of things, even if I did use save states.
Boo! You stink!
Scrap Brain Zone doesn't have a boss fight though, instead you follow the fat bastard as he jumps on a flying platform.
Hey!
What I'm about to show you is really cool, but what isn't cool are epileptic fits. And what you're about to see could most definitely trigger one of those. So please, I implore you, skip to the time code on the screen if you have a problem with flashing lights. Sky Base Zone, this version's final level. And you know what? It's a massive step up from the original, at least thematically. The level isn't too crazy, it's definitely a little too slow for my liking, but what ruins an otherwise fine level is this shit. See how I said people who have epilepsy shouldn't see this?
What's wrong with you?
When you reach the end, you fight Eggman as expected. It's actually a pretty fun fight with a decent challenge. Trying to get 2 hits in before the laser gets back to you is intense. And when the laser switches up, I was not expecting that. Again, I'm awful save state scum, so I didn't have to experience the pain of failing here and going all the way back to the beginning of the game. Of all the Sonic games I've talked about so far, which has only been 4, so maybe it's not that crazy of a feat, Sonic 2 is my favourite, so I was really curious to experience the 8-bit version. So this game is considered one of the most difficult Sonic games ever, and you ever get that feeling when you start up a game and almost immediately realise you don't like it? Yeah, that's this game for me.
So hard!
So this game introduces Tails, only for him to get kidnapped immediately. It starts off with an underground zone. Why is this the first level? What? And already, you know you're in for some shit. Minecarts are scattered around this level, and I swear they exist only to fuck with you. It just lulls you into this false sense of security, and then bang, you're fucked. The second zone is more like how you'd expect a Sonic game to start, at least aesthetically, but you can't even walk through much of this zone before discovering the hang glider. Now, I guess they wanted to have a section where Tails would fly, then upon realizing Tails couldn't be in the game with you, they settled for this, and it's awful. I tried for like 15 minutes to figure this out, but every time I found myself falling into the same pit of spikes over and over and over. I eventually resorted to looking at guides, and they all gave conflicting control methods for the glider, but eventually, by sheer luck, I was able to clear it. Then we have the third zone. It starts off looking all nice and marbly. Is that a word? And then bam, Labyrinth Zone again, baby! And this has to be the worst Labyrinth Zone yet. Fuck me. Even thinking about this underwater bullshit. it's infuriating. I can't. I eventually game overed here, and by that point, the thought of playing more of this was just... I could feel my hairline receding over stress at that point. So the last game left to discuss in this weird 8-bit Sonic trilogy thing is Sonic Chaos. You thought I was going to say Sonic 3, didn't you? Well, they didn't do a Sonic 3, so we got this. Is it much of a replacement? I'm not sure yet. I'm writing this part before I played it. Well, of course it's not past me, but it is a fairly solid game and I enjoyed it for what it was. Real quick though, before we go any further, I just want to talk about Mega Collection Plus. This music is so nostalgic and the extras menu is awesome. Look at these Knuckles comic covers, haha, look at the shitty Ken Bender's characters. Anyway, Sonic Chaos is pretty good. You can actually choose between Sonic and Tails this time, and they added the spin dash. There is a god. Truthfully though, there's not too much to this one. It's fairly short, but it does have cool mechanics, like these rocket shoes. An interesting thing about this game is the way you access the special stages. Upon getting 100 rings, you get automatically teleported to the stage. The first time this happened, I didn't actually realise how I'd done it. This might be my favourite of the 3 games, purely because it plays it safe. I know that sounds weird, but unlike the other 2 games, they weren't really trying to do anything different here. Yeah, the zones are all different. Who could forget about Sleeping Egg Zone? You lot are sleeping on this one. It's just a Sonic game in handheld, and rocket shoes. Can't forget about those. Also, why did I not mention this sooner? It has loot and the weird spiral thingies from Sonic 2. These additions don't really sound like much, but just the fact that they've been included really helps this feel more like a Sonic game. This is what I expected the first 2 games to be like when I heard the words 8-bit Sonic game. And of course, I feel the need to mention the fan-made remake of this game that is currently in the works. It's coming up on 2 years since the demo at this point, and we've yet to see anything other than a screenshot a few months ago, but hopefully it's not completely dead. I initially thought this was a mod inside of Mania, a game that we'll get to one day, but it's actually built on an entirely different and unique engine. Seeing as the demo is available to download for free, I thought I'd give it a go, and it's really cool. It's not really a remake of Chaos, it's more like an entirely new thing that borrows the aesthetic of the original game. The first level was pretty solid, but the second level was more like a climb up a mountain. You go left and right as you gradually go up, but the fact you can often end up missing jumps that take you back down to areas you've just been through kinda sucks. Like the last video, I'm again left wondering what the fuck I should say to even end this one, and I know I can't use the Ramsey thing again.
Fat mouth little stupid bitch.
Wait, no, actually, it's time to hop aboard the hype train, as in the next video, we'll finally be taking a look at the game often considered to be the best of the entire franchise, Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh no,